On this episode of Red Cape Sports, we're going to go over our tips for building a complete card set. Welcome to this installment of Red Cape Sports. I'm going to be your host for today, Mitchell Bouchard. And what we're going to do is give you some tips that will probably help you complete your sports card set. So when it comes to building and completing a card set, there's a lot that goes into it. So let's get into the video. So step number one is going to be your method for protecting your cards. So when you start out a set, you probably know what you want to build. I'm gonna assume that. Once you know, then when it comes to building, so here's an example of an old set, you want to have a good binder. So instead of having something like this, where your cards are going to probably fall out, the pages aren't that good. As I can see here, my cards are sticking out on the top. It's just not very practical for when you're building a set. So what you wanna do when you start out is you want to get a premium binder. As you can see here, I have a lot of room to put in my cards. And not only that, but if you look at the quality of the binder, we have these very nice premium sleeves. So what you can do is you can put your card in a penny sleeve and then you could add your card to the binder. So before you begin to build your set, you should pick up a binder that's dedicated to a set. So for example, here I have Pokemon Go Master Set and I have how many cards I need. So you are visually giving yourself the opportunity to know how to complete it. Tip number two is going to be to have a budget in mind. You could spend a lot more money than the set is worth. I've done that on some sets, but I also enjoy building it. And long term, I may have an insight as to how much it could be worth. So maybe you're gambling on something, or you just believe that this set is good, or you just love it. So it depends on what you want, but at the end of the day, you want to have a budget. So mark down a total budget and put down how much you were willing to pay for a card. Of course, if a card is rare in the set, let's say you're building a set that has, it's a Young Gun set, you have Austin Matthews in there in that series. Well, you're probably going to want to get Matthews first. That card is not going to be worth the same as the other ones. So that's going to be another tip. Make sure that you budget. Tip number three is going to be to leverage eBay, Facebook, and social media. If you do this, what you can do is you can catch people who are trying to trade. So if you trade, it's going to be worth it. Now, I've done a lot of trading in the past couple weeks. What I can do is I can take cards that I have doubles of that are worth something, instead of having to get cash and then taking that cash, buying the card, paying the extra fees, you can go right to somebody that needs it and you can trade. And oftentimes you could have a little bit of wiggle room where maybe that trade is in your favor as well. When you think about cards, they're also called trading cards. And it drives me nuts that nobody is trading anymore. And I understand we're not living in the same world that we used to. However, if you can trade, it's beneficial not only to you, but the person that you're trading with. Think about it. For them, they'd have to go on eBay, pay the shipping, pay probably a premium because the person's selling it and they're trying to get a fee, where you're both trying to get a win-win situation. It's somewhat of a perfect partnership when you're trading with somebody else. Tip number four is to be consistent and don't give up. For me, I don't have a timeline on building these sets. In fact, I would argue that for the most part, I don't want to complete most of my sets because I enjoy the process of building it. It's a great way to relax when you're building a set. For example, I always bring out the Pokemon, but I have tons of these sets. And this is something that allows me to learn about modern cards. It gives me the opportunity to sit down, acquire some cards. I'm sorry, Frank, I went to Brimstone and I picked up a nice Pokemon card. But for example, some of these cards, it's actually very difficult to acquire. So that brings me into tip number five. What you can do is make a plan of action as to not only for your budget, but plan out how many packs you are going to open first. Because when you're finishing a set, it's going to be very difficult for you to find that card that you need. So leverage all the other tips that we have in this video. It's really going to help you out. Part of tip number 5 is to open up the packs and boxes that you would get in the set. The reason you want to do this is because you can understand what the scarcity of most of the cards are and what are the odds of you pulling a specific card. For example, this Pokemon Go set, it was very hard to pull this Mewtwo card. Now, if I hadn't pulled that card after opening 4 or 5 boxes, I knew that it wasn't worth getting any more because the odds are, for example, 1 of 12 or 1 of 20 to pull a specific card. So you would have to spend way more than it would cost for the whole set to pull that card. So you end up finding little detective pieces, if you will, in that regard. So don't be afraid to open up the packs. Of course, you're going to be doing that most likely if you're building a set, but you want to pay attention to the pull rate of specific cards and understand which cards are rare. Just get those individually. So that's going to be the final tip I have for you, because at the end of the day, you don't want to spend more than what the set is worth. Again, there are a lot of variables. For a lot of you, maybe you're just finishing a set and you want to take care of it. That's why having a good binder is worth it. If this were a set that I really cared about, here we've got some Lemieux. They're not rookies, they're just, a standard set. I don't even know if there are any great cards in here. But if this were a set that was really sought after, I would definitely move it into a nice Ultra Pro premium binder. So that's what I wanted to say, and those are going to be the tips. That's all we have for you in this video. Don't forget to comment below. Also, subscribe and like our channel if you are new, and if you've been around, thank you so much for sticking around. We're going to be doing videos every Monday here on the channel, and also we have a special coupon code for you. Type in Black Friday, so you can use the coupon code Black Friday. You can get 90% off of our Pokemon collecting and investing course, as well as our sports card collecting and investing course. This will take you step by step and teaching you how to invest and collect into cards if you are a Pokemon or sports card investor. All right, so that's all we have for you. We will see you in the next episode.